This week, the University of Memphis named Dr. Bill Hardgrave as its new president, and we brought you that announcement moments after it happened.
But this hiring has left some community leaders frustrated because they feel a person of color should have at least been considered.
WRG's Jordan James joins us now live and is covering both sides of this sensitive issue. Jordan, what'd you find out?
Hey, Greg, while this appointment is being celebrated by university officials, two organizations sent a letter to the Board of Trustees to figure out how Dr. Hardgrave plans on making diversity a priority moving forward.
All in favor? Aye. Aye. All right, well, we now have a new president of the University of Memphis.
With that vote, University of Memphis officially named its 13th president, Dr. Bill Hardgrave. And as he prepares to assume his duties, concerns about diversity are lingering after no finalists were black. The Shelby County Board of Commissioners, Black Caucus, and Memphis branch of the NAACP issued a letter expressing their issues with his hire.
I'm concerned that the process didn't reflect the diversity and the identity of the broader Memphis community as well as that of the campus.
Hardgrave comes to the University of Memphis from Auburn University. His former institution had less than 5% black students compared to Memphis, which has nearly 40%.
One of the things that really I saw as a tremendous strength of this university is the diversity of the student body and the culture of diversity here, and the great history and culture of this city. And the magic happens when we really can harness that.
At his introductory press conference, Hardgrave was unable to provide specifics about how to make diversity a priority, but did vow to meet with community members to better understand issues affecting the university.
I can't answer how we then harness that at this point. That's part of me coming in, understanding the situation that we have here, working with our faculty, our staff, our students, the business community to understand, you know, how do we take advantage of that?
For Shelby County Commissioner Tammy Sawyer, that answer is not good enough.
To select a president of a university in a community that's 70% people of color and he not be able to answer what diversity initiatives he'd like to undertake, or he not be able to answer what it looks like to have a commitment to the broader Memphis community, that sounds to me like a process that was not focused on the right things.
In that letter to the Board of Trustees, they gave them 10 days to respond to the request for comment. As of this evening, they have not heard back. Dr. Hardgrave is expected to start in the spring. Reporting here live downtown, Jordan James, WREG, News Channel 3.